Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm a children's librarian in the mountains of North Carolina, and for 3 years I was the project manager of an IMLS LSTA grant-funded project that we called Alphabet Ready. And I'll link to more information about that in the description below this video. But in this video, I just wanted to tell you about one component of that project, and that was alphabet backpacks that we created. So today I'm just going to be talking to you about the letter N backpacks. We did backpacks around every letter of the alphabet. The first year we did backpacks that just had books in them that had the letter N somewhere in the title. But we also included some fun activities in every backpack. Every backpack actually had the same kinds of activities. The first thing in here, this is an Alphabot. So this is a transformer, the letter N that transforms into a robot. And then we had these lakeshore magnet boards where that would help children with the alphabet recognition of how a capital letter N is formed and how a lowercase letter n is formed. And there's also behind that a puzzle, a 5-piece puzzle. With items that start with the sound of letter N. And then in the backpack, we had always a puppet that had the featured letter. This is a nurse that also had the letter on the puppet. And we also had, I wanted to show you this, we bought folding flannel boards, and we put the focus letter, which in this case is letter N, and some items that began with the letter N, and then another letter on the board, and children had to sort out the objects according to whether they sounded like the letter N or the letter M. So that was also in the backpacks. And then we created a little tip sheet for parents so that they would have some extra ideas of things they could do, some songs that would go along with letter N, and some phonological awareness or alphabet recognition tips. And if you're interested in any of this, I'll put my email address in the description of the video as well, and you could email me. I'd be happy to share any of the resources that we've created that might make your life a little bit easier if you wanted to try something similar. So I did want to show you some of the titles in this backpack. We've got Ninja Red Riding Hood, which I love the stories by Corey Rosen Schwartz, who changes up some familiar fairy tales but gives them a new flair, usually involving martial arts. I love these books by Diana Aston. This one, A Nest is Noisy. The illustrations are just so beautiful, and the information is, there's a lot of information in these books. So this gives the child a lot to look at while you're sharing with them all this nonfiction information. A Nest is Noisy. Then Good Night Numbers. And one of the things I love that this is a rhyming book and that it goes through the numbers in rhyme. But I especially love it when an author gives you some extra ideas of how to use the material in the book, which this book has. So check out that book, Good Night Numbers. And one of my favorites, Fancy Nancy's favorite fancy words, going through the alphabet with from accessories to zany. I just feel like any little girl would love the special words in this book, like E for excursion, a special trip. Then we've got Fall is Not Easy, which we also included in our Storytime kit, which is mentioned in another video that I've done. And then This is the Nest that Robin built, which is a lot like This is the House that Jack built. And also in the backpack we had sewing cards for that particular letter. So many wonderful resources for a child and a parent or a caregiver to just check out this backpack and take it home and have just so many suggestions of how to help a child get better at recognizing the sound and shape of letter N. And we've had some family services coordinators and some speech pathologists use these backpacks, when they're working with families or tutoring in the library, they really like that every backpack has similar items in it, just focusing on a different letter. So that's what we did in the first year of the grant. And in the second year of the grant, we were supposed to make another set of backpacks. So we reached out, since we were in the schools doing story times in the schools, and asked the kindergarten teachers what would they like to see in a backpack if we created another series. And they specifically requested that we include STEM focused books, and if we could include some books that were more on the reading level of the child. So these were all books that a parent or caregiver would read to the child. These backpacks had at least one. We tried to get at least one that was on a lower reading level for the child. So the STEM backpacks, as we began to call them, all include a magic writing board with a card that's specific to the letter that they're practicing. So where the other had a magnet board for letter recognition, this has a magnet board where the children can follow the prompt, then try to make the letter themselves, uppercase and lowercase, and then write a word that starts with that letter. And then you pull this off and they can erase it like that and try again, or try to write other words or other letters. Then also in every STEM backpack, we tried to include a game of some sort. So this one is a logic game called Squirrels Go Nuts. And that's why it was included in a letter N backpack, again, helping with the STEM concepts. And then the books in this backpack include, I'll try to just get them all out of here, a little awkward, sorry. We also included tip sheets in the STEM backpacks, but we wanted them to be a little bit different from the tip sheets that we had put in year one. So these were specifically tip sheets created for the STEM backpacks, and on the back of every one of these we included a RAN board where children could work on that alphabet recognition, especially of the lowercase letters. We felt like often in the story times in particular, we were focusing on capital letters, so we wanted to have an activity for parents or caregivers to use that focused on the lowercase letter of the alphabet. And so here are some examples of some of the books in the letter N backpack: Living and Non-Living. This is by Zoom In on Science Concepts books by Abdo Zoom. So this is kind of the amount of text that would be in a book like this. Then Numbers is a wordless book where the little mice are chewing out the numbers on the pages of the book, and the mice increase in number as they increase in the number that they're chewing out of the paper. Numbers in Nature, a little bit higher level, reading level, but still on the STEM concept, and a companion book called Sizes in Nature. Gives you an idea of what the inside of those books are. I love this Who's Nest, which is a Lift the Flap book. So they're going to give you clues and then say, who am I? Whose nest? And then when you open the pages, you find out who built the nest on that page. Just a beautiful book. We've got Neat Number Puzzles. There's an example of some of the number puzzles that would be in this book. And then finally, a book on the United States Navy, an Abdo Kids book. And this gives you an idea of the text on that page for lower level readers. So we just wanted to share with you, again, a resource that we were able to create for our library and for our patrons with this grant, but we'd be happy to share with you any of the ideas that were presented here. Just send me an email and I would be happy to elaborate on anything you saw. Additionally, we just feel like the internet community of librarians and teachers has been such a help to us. We've learned a lot from that community, and if you would like to, in the comments, add some suggestions of how you think these backpacks could have been improved, and that'll just make this a richer resource for everybody else who stumbles across these videos. So that's all I've got. So in the words of Tigger, ta-ta for now.